Jax, what do you think made people click on this video just now?
Obviously, they're just interested in the topic.
But a philosopher from 300 years ago might disagree. They'd say that exactly who clicks on this video right now was predetermined the moment the Big Bang happened.
Whoa, Professor, are we going this hardcore right out of the gate? That sounds like straight-up determinism.
All right, let's start simpler. When you flip a coin, what actually decides if it's heads or tails? Is it really random?
Well, yeah, of course it is. Isn't that literally chapter 1 in every probability textbook?
But that common sense is actually wrong. Textbooks use the coin toss to illustrate a random experiment, meaning each outcome is independent. But most people only remember the 50-50% conclusion.
Wait, so the result of a coin toss isn't random?
Think about it. What actually determines which side the coin lands on?
The weight of the coin, the force of the flip, the angle, wind speed, maybe even the mood of the guy flipping it. Basically, a ton of variables. No one can control all that.
Can no one really control it? In 2007, mathematicians at Stanford published a paper, Dynamic Bias in the Coin Toss. They built a specific algorithm and a mechanical device. By precisely controlling the initial conditions, they made the coin land on the exact same side.
Hold on. That's because the machine locked in all the variables. In reality, human hands twitch, the air flows. That's exactly what makes it unpredictable.
Unpredictable only to our human brains. To the laws of physics, it is a crystal clear chain of cause and effect. If you feed all those parameters into a supercomputer, it could perfectly calculate heads or tails before the coin even hits the ground.
So, a coin toss isn't random at all. It's just that our cognition and computing power aren't enough?
Exactly. In the macroscopic world, there is no true randomness. Only causity so complex it defies calculation. Which is exactly why Einstein said God does not play dice.
Well then, Professor, the random functions we use in programming, those have to be true random numbers, right?
It's far more dangerous. It could even cost you tens of millions of dollars.
Wait, what?
In 2014, a Russian group walked into global casinos and took millions.
How?
They recorded machine screen with their phones, captured dozens of spins, and streamed it live to a server in Russia.
What's the point of recording?
The server then sent a countdown app to their phones. They just waited for a vibration in their pocket, hit spin, and jackpot.
Wait, aren't the results randomly generated?
That's the key.
How can you time a jackpot?
The machines run on pseudo-random number generators. Think of it as a massive codebook. Give it an initial seed, usually the machine's internal system clock, and every following number is calculated by a fixed formula.
I get it. They reverse engineered the formula. Using the recorded spins, they calculated the exact system time and its position in the codebook. Then, they simply timed the next jackpot.
Spot on.
Brilliant trick. But casinos must have updated their security after that, right?
Yes. Modern systems use an entropy pool. They collect mouse trajectories, keystroke delays, even network latency, mixing this complex physical noise to create a new seed.
That sounds bulletproof.
But the core remains pseudo-random. If the foundation relies on mathematical formulas, a hacker with enough initial conditions can still therefore engineer it. Modern cybersecurity relies almost entirely on random functions. Bank transfers, encrypted comms. If your random function is predictable, the entire defense system collapses instantly.
My God, hackers will definitely target the banks. Are the banks' random functions secure enough?
Which is exactly why we must find a fundamentally more secure way to generate random seeds. To protect the global internet, Silicon Valley engineers found something you'd never expect. The industry calls it an entropy wall.
The what? Sounds like some sci-fi defense system.
Close. CloudFrac, they protect nearly a fourth of all global internet traffic. They built a literal wall out of 100 lava lamps.
Wait, lava lamps? What? Those glowing retro toys from the 70s? And they use that to protect the internet?
As the wax inside heats up, it rises, breaks apart, and sinks in a completely chaotic way. The slightest change, even a billionth of a degree, completely alters the pattern. They have cameras staring at these lamps 24/7. Computers then translate those millions of constantly shifting pixels into a string of numbers. That unpredictable data feeds right into Cloudfire's core encryption.
Makes sense. You're using real-world physical chaos to feed unpredictable seeds into the encryption. Great idea, but with billions of phones and computers out there, you can't exactly stuff a lava block into every device. It's just not scalable.
You're absolutely right. The lava wall acts more as a security redundancy and a visual proof of trust. It holds strong promotional and symbolic value. But what's actually running in your phone right now is a technology called hardware thermal noise.
And how does thermal noise generate random numbers?
It's actually pretty simple. You put a tiny resistor inside a chip. The electrons inside are constantly vibrating and smashing into each other because of heat. You amplify that tiny physical noise, convert it into zeros and ones, and that's your most reliable source of randomness today.
Well, sounds like we can rest easy then. With physical chaos doing the heavy lifting, nothing can predict those seeds.
Not quite. Legend has it, there's an entity that still can.
Wait, what? Who?
A phantom from 2 centuries ago, Laplace's demon. Because to this demon, chaos, not random.
Professor, this 200-year-old ghost you brought up, you're just memeing, right?
You hit the nail on the head. Laplace's demon has been a legendary concept in the scientific community for 2 centuries. Laplace was a ruthless genius. He even predicted the existence of black holes over 100 years before Einstein. If this demon actually exists, humanity's entire belief in the future, self, and meaning will completely collapse.
So this idea has been debated for 200 years right up to today? That's hardcore. Let's dive into it.
In Laplace's era, Newtonian classical mechanics ruled the world of physics. Newton's law of causality compared the universe like an incredibly precise mechanical clock, gears perfectly interlocking without a single flaw.
Meaning the world is completely determinated?
Exactly. In 1814, Laplace wrote a famous passage in his philosophical essay on probabilities.
We must regard the present universe as the effect of its past and the cause of its future. If a supreme intellect knew the exact forces and positions of every particle, it could capture the movement of the entire cosmos in a single formula. For this intellect, nothing is uncertain. The future, just like the past, would be completely visible before its eyes.
Wait, if Laplace is right, doesn't that mean everything that will ever happen in the universe was locked in the exact moment of the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago?
From a casual perspective, yes. If the cause is predetermined, the result is absolutely predetermined.
So you're saying, even our conversation right now, my current thoughts, me moving my hand, all of it was already programmed by the initial state of the universe? This is way too counterintuitive. I mean, I only moved my hand because I wanted to.
How can you be so sure it's your brain commanding your hand, and not your hand moving first, with your consciousness rushing out later to take the credit?
That's impossible, right?
In the early 1980s, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet conducted a classic experiment. He asked subjects to freely choose when to lift their hand while monitoring their brain activity. The motor command issued by the brain's motor cortex occurred hundreds of milliseconds before the subject consciously generated the thought, "I want to move."
Meaning the body made the decision first, and hundreds of milliseconds later it finally notified the consciousness?
You could understand it that way.
That is unbelievable. Laplace's demon literally assassinated human free will? Did scientists just accept their fate?
Of course not. Countless top minds challenged this demon, but all returned in defeat. Until 1927, until a 25-year-old young man appeared. His name was Heisberg.